Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Tell Me Something Good. And boy, with what's going on in the world, we need something good. It is crazy out there. There's all kinds of fake news, new news, crazy news. But I'm excited to welcome a guy who I've been friendly with for 40 years, which is insane, who is now my business partner in another division in our company, which I'm super proud of and is doing some great things. Welcome, Michael Ralby.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be here.
It's kind of cool. This format is set up for you to share who you are and obviously share something good, because I think the world needs it. And this format is short and sweet and memorable, which is how great branding is done. And so it's you, baby. Take it away.
Well, thanks again for having me today. And it's really been awesome to experience our 40-year journey together. And it's been awesome to watch how you pivoted and brought telling us something good. And it's exciting to watch on a daily basis. Our new venture is awesome, very exciting. And the things that we're working on play right into the tsunami that we're living through. But there is a silver lining. And the universe is cleansing the world right now. It's allowing us to reshape. We've gone far apart into our own homes, but somehow we've gotten closer. We've put down our phones, and it's playing right into the businesses that we both have been able to experience and work on together. Our new telemedicine project, it couldn't come at a better time. So telling you something
You
good
can't make that shit up. That's for sure, man.
So to walk out of Wall Street 2+ years ago and miss the tsunami and be able to be a participant in this new world and pivot and, live through the things that you need to do and learn what's gone on through your LinkedIn and all your other coaching stuff to be able to capitalize on being able to rebrand me and rebrand us and work on things that are just going to be very beneficial to the universe. And the game is changing very dramatically, and people need to really embrace it. And that's the important and good side to it. More family, staying home a little bit, focusing on your work, not being so rushed around, but being able to be productive. And there is a silver lining to it, because there's unfortunately a lot of people getting sick, but there are a lot of people out there that are thriving under these opportunities. It's really exciting stuff.
It's interesting because my perspective is, having invested my time and energy in understanding the digital landscape and working with these tools, my life is so much more efficient. I have relationships at scale that I could have never done before. And as I'm teaching people and as I'm doing that, as I've done with you, there's so much more that I'm capable of doing because I'm not stuck in traffic. I'm not polluting the world. There are benefits that, and I love the way you put that. I think it's a cleanse. I think it's, the laws are changing, and I think people took the internet for granted. It's the number one connection tool. So, we see people saying, social distancing. That doesn't mean isolation. Absolutely. The contrary. So
you sat in your office, you sat at a dinner table in a restaurant, and the whole family stared at their phone. Today, they sit at home and they talk, because there's so much other time to be efficient and productive. And the things that we're seeing in all our other business ventures that we're working on allow us to be that much more efficient. And I agree with you, and thank you for pointing it out. The universe is cleansing. We are putting ourselves back to where we need to be able to take care of things that are far more important than running around and being stuck in traffic. And it's unfortunate. It's horrible what's happened, but there is a silver lining to this whole thing. And we will come out on the other side, and we have to work together. From a business standpoint, there's never been more opportunity. There's just never been, and you always hear me say Wall Street goes on sale and nobody shows up. You're in one of the biggest target markets you've ever been. There are things out there if you know what you're doing, whether it's the bond market.
But what's been fascinating for me is the way, and even before this crisis, you activated relationships as far as Israel on a regular basis, where if you think back 5 years ago, conducting business at that scale would have been almost impossible. my son Jake brought up to me. He goes, listen, Dad, can you imagine 5 years ago, we're stuck in the house together without all these digital tools to communicate face to face. We never would have been able to do this kind of podcast and share, what we're talking about, what we're working on at scale. It's fascinating because 5 years is a blip on the map, yet it's changing so fast. And this is accelerating change at a pace that I don't think people were prepared for, obviously.
100%. Look what's happened. Look what's going to happen in the whole medical space. Look what's going to happen in the financial space. It's really dynamically changing it very rapidly. And to your point, the people that were communicating from Puerto Rico to Israel, every day we hop on a computer and we look at each other and we're able to maneuver and manufacture and do things that used to be, oh, I'll meet you on a plane or get there. So there is a huge paradigm shift. And to our other partners, look at, they're having such a difficult time in LA right now creating content for their television shows. And we're a part of a live TV company called Yip TV. And when this,
right, which couldn't be more relevant than they are now.
Right. So you couldn't have written the script that how this all got together. So it's such an incredible paradigm. The opportunities are endless.
So one of the things I wanted to do, and one of the reasons why I created this platform, is that it's short, it's digestible, but in any situation, if you can program yourself to look at the good, I mean, look, as an entrepreneur, I have failed so many times. And when you're sliding and going down and in the midst of it, it doesn't feel good. It's really hard to be positive. It's hard to look at the upside and the bright side. That always sounds like some, Cheerio kind of thing. But the reality is all great gains come from great losses.
Without question.
And you live that your whole life. That discipline is what drove you. Now you've taken that discipline into the business world. And look, you and I have had our conversations about like, whoa, dude, this doesn't feel right. But you know what? You got to go with it. You got to trust your gut, what you've done. And certainly the results have been there for us.
Well, they certainly have. And I appreciate you pointing that out. At the end of the day, being run over by a bus doesn't feel good. It's happened quite a few times in my career. But you don't see it coming. And unfortunately, when it happens, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you learn from it. And that's the difference. If you don't learn from it and you don't go figure out a better way, then shame on you, because that bus is coming again. And anybody to think that you look at the career that I spent on Wall Street, from the crash of '87 to the buying opportunity in 2008 to where you are right this very second, it's going to happen again, but it doesn't happen, and it only happens a couple of times. But learning from it, and especially making the mistakes that you've made or I have made in business, if you go down and you give the best analogy when you do your boxing, you have 10 seconds to get up. That's the best one, but the good side of it is when you brush yourself off and you get on the other side, because the pendulum swings both sides much too far one way and much too far on the other way. And when you get to experience that other side and you learn from it, it really is gratifying. And anybody who tells you the trees go right to the sky, they never do.
So here's what I want to close with. You've migrated to where you work from home all the time. You are the guy that does no longer wear ties, thank God, man, because every time you did, man, it made me feel choked up. What advice would you give to people who have never worked at home? Number one. And number two is, I want you to at least comment on how yoga and meditation has played a part in your life and has helped you transition to this craziness that we're dealing with.
So, no tie is an absolute prerequisite now, but working at home is no different than anything else you do in your life. It's a discipline. If you get up and you don't create a routine and have a time, you'll be on the couch. There's no doubt about it.
Good.
You need to have a discipline. And if you don't have that discipline and you don't, as you call it, your buckets and the whole 9 yards, if you do not set your time aside to do the things that are on your to-do list or your principles or whatever needs to be accomplished, you will have a problem. As far as yoga is concerned, it's a daily practice for me. It quiets the mind. It gives me everything I possibly need, both from a physical, mental, and spiritual angle. It has become the cornerstone for my my disciplines and how I go about my day. And without quieting my mind on the meditative side, well, everybody's seen the other side of that. So,
and that's not pretty, man. That's
right. So, that's for sure. So we work on that every day. And that's no different than you work on your body. You need to work on your mind. You need to work on your spiritual side. The blessings that we have on a daily basis, they must be recognized. So if you take the time to have the disciplines and recognize the spiritual side, the emotional side, and then that will give you the ability to go do the business side, everything falls into place. And if I haven't said it yet today or shown it, I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks it, man. It's great. I told you. I've been telling you for years that there's a better way. And now this kind of event, which, you know, as tragic as it could be, I think it's pushing people to recognize that it's just a new way of life and embrace it and move forward. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy. I appreciate you telling me something good. And I appreciate you being on the ball.
Thank you so much. It was great being with you. Look forward to catching up soon.
You got it, brother.
Take care, my man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.